you're doing everything right and not everything goes right. We hear about when you raise your kids with animals or drink raw milk, less kids have asthma, but we're doing that stuff and our kids still have asthma. So we got back from vacation and yesterday evening got back these mold test reports on our house, and I knew there was some mold in the basement, but apparently there's quite a lot of spores upstairs as well. They're probably coming from downstairs in the house. So last night we were kind of panicking and thinking, do we need to move out of the house? So that's what we're talking about now, trying to figure out, okay, what's the next step? I actually called into work, which I hate calling into work. But I was thinking we might be moving out of the house today. This is not based on just some, ethereal fear of mold. It's actually our kids, one of them in particular has had breathing issues for his whole life, and he was born here. So
in this room.
So we were questioning, we're trying to figure out like what is causing it, like asthma type symptoms. And when we were out of town this week, staying in another house out of the lake, a little vacation, he had very minimal respiratory symptoms.
He usually coughs throughout the day, all day.
The baby's trying to go to sleep. He's taking a nap.
And at night, he coughs a lot while he's sleeping.
And I'm not going to say his symptoms disappeared, but he had a huge relief from his symptoms just getting out of this house. So that just adds to this idea, okay, it could be something in this house that's causing it. We know there's mold spores. We know mold spores can cause those types of symptoms. So we're just trying to figure out the best game plan to move forward to deal with the moisture problem in our basement, treat the mold in our basement, and then at the same time, possibly initially if possible, deal with the issue that's immediately causing respiratory issues of mold spores being up here. There's a potentially mold in the back in the back room where there's carpet, and there's a spot in our room, our bedroom where there's moisture in the wall. Other than those two spots, the upstairs seems to be mold free. We've not seen mold up here ever, but there's two spots that we suspect.
Well, let me clarify, not mold free. We have mold spores in there. There's mold everywhere, outside, inside. There's mold everywhere, but there's different kinds of mold, and then there's mold spores in the air, and then there's mold that's growing. So we think that we know there's mold growing in the cellar. We think that inside the house upstairs there's mold growing in our back room and in our bedroom. And that the spores in the air are coming from those three places, that it's not growing in every room in the house. So I just wanted to clarify that. Yeah. Researching mold it's a whole new frontier of learning, because it's so vague and difficult to learn about.
Yeah, it's very complex, and the challenge is like even the spore tests can actually, they're so subject to so many factors.
Yeah.
The fact is though, we know there's too many mold spores up here. They're not like dramatic levels. They're just above the levels that are like considered potentially safe, but we also know that our kids are having these respiratory issues, and we have to eliminate this as a possibility. That's as a driving factor.
I mean, regardless if this is the main reason that he has asthma,
asthma symptoms,
this is still an issue. Even if none of our kids were showing symptoms, I do have to say though, we were sick a lot last winter. Especially this one child was sick for months. We finally had to put him on steroids to get him back to just a normal level of asthma for him. I'm glad we didn't get the results on vacation, even though it was kind of like even though it was kind of like a knock or a slap in the face, like getting those results last night. Like the email came in at like 11 o'clock last night. I'm thankful we had like a week of not even really thinking about it.
So today we're trying to come up with a plan and then make the immediate decision of, do we get out of the house, which would mean like renting a place, which out in these rural areas, there's not just easy rentals. It's kind of like your pick is between lots of expensive vacation rentals.
Yeah, that's basically your...
That's kind of what we were thinking last night. Today, reading more, we think we can improve the air quality by replacing high volumes of air from outside. And the outdoor air isn't perfect, but it's better than what we're breathing in here right now, versus filtration and then targeting these. I think we should target, this is what we're trying to figure out. I think we should target in the upstairs problem sources of potential mold, the back room, in that room first before we do anything else.
Like we won't have to move out, I don't think, when you do downstairs, but we will have to leave when you do the rooms.
Mm-hmm. My thought with the back room is that if there's actually mold in that carpet, like you suspect, dealing with that mold in that carpet, getting the carpet out and treating that floor area could be a first step versus completely sealing off that back room and just cutting that off from the rest of the house.
I feel like we need to pour our resources into fixing the sources of the problem. And then, like, as we have extra money, we can seal off rooms, but we can't seal off the problem. So, like, does that make sense? So then as we have the funds to fix that room, we can fix that room. And then as we have the funds to fix that room, we'll fix that room.
Mm-hmm. Every single year, Brianna, every year we've kind of crashed in August.
I feel good. I was feeling really good this August.
I know, but I'm saying as far as like YouTube and just like, it's like been our break time every year. And sometimes we saw it ahead of time, and sometimes, I'm not saying we're going to get a break necessarily, but I'm saying that every year, so this is our 3-year anniversary on YouTube. I think what I want to do is post like update videos.
It'll all be about mold.
And a lot of it's going to be about fixing this mold problem. And then my idea for August and like how we can still do YouTube and actually address this stuff is to just post these like update videos, which might be kind of a raw discussion or just saying, hey, this is what we did today, or just show you in the midst of our work. That's kind of my idea.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons August is usually a hard month for us is because we're about to start school.
Yep.
And I know for me, like when my brain in the summer feels so free to focus on the farm, but as soon as I start focusing on homeschooling, I feel so much pressure to like move all of that passion and focus from the farm to homeschool.
Yeah.
And this summer I've been trying to like prepare all throughout the summer rather than just like, oh my goodness, it's August, I better do it now. So I feel a little more prepared this year. And also I've been homeschooling for a few years now, five years now. So I feel I'm just getting more confident. But I do have to say that like I was planning to start some initial school, like just some of the core subjects next Monday, 2 days from now, which obviously I don't feel like I can do that now. That's a long-winded way to say typically the reason August is so hard is because I'm feeling the pressure of like we suddenly have all this abundance in the garden that needs to be dealt with, but then I also really need to be focusing on school.
So today we are trying to come up with a plan for what we're going to start with. We haven't hammered that out yet. And then I think like our top priority is saying, is it actually feasible to improve our air quality for the next weeks while we're working on this? Like, can we do that now? How can we do that now? Like what's happening right now is I'm replacing indoor air with outdoor air, which is, it's an imperfect solution. It's doesn't lower the moisture in your house at all. But so that's like what I'm initially doing. It actually makes a difference. I don't know if you noticed, but it actually makes a difference when we run a fan through the day. You can actually smell a difference in the air.
Oh yeah.
And I've never thought our house smelled terrible, but it's always been a little just musty smelling from the day we moved in. And then in the back room especially. That's like the only signs up here that there's an issue is the musty smell.
I feel like planning will be a good step to not fight a lot and be stressed and frustrated all the time and exhausted. I mean, we're going to be exhausted.
I was talking to Justin Rhodes. We were talking about what is the focus of our YouTube channel. Like he was talking about different people and how they've like taken on different things. And he thought about it. And the next time I saw him, he said, "I think y'all's channel is it's homestead life. It's about life."
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what our channel has to be about right now. I mean, and I hate talking about money struggles on here because I don't want people to think that I'm complaining or asking for money, either one of those. But it's hard, honestly. It's hard to make things work as a family. And I know that's not a struggle unique to us. It's hard to make things work. I know a lot of y'all struggle with that too. So it's like, I want to figure out how to share about that without it sounding like I'm complaining. I'm going to tell you the story, and I like to think it's the story of us figuring out how to do that better, and then also like how do you stay resilient, which we're not that great at, but we know that we need to be better. It's like a focus, I think, in our lives. But how do you stay resilient through quite challenging times? And it's not like there's all these horrible things in our lives, but people struggle just with day-to-day struggles. And that's kind of what we're dealing with right now. And then this feels like this is a big deal for us right now. And then the health challenges are huge with our kids, and very real. And
one kid in particular. And
with no easy answers available from anyone. Okay, so that's what we're doing today. I'm gonna try to keep you up to date and make a video every day I'm not working, even if it's just a live video. I'm gonna try to sneak in some of those. I want to do more of them, but I think that's a tool I'm gonna be able to use to actually like get stuff done and then make a quick video. Is doing like really fast, like 30-minute live videos, probably unannounced, possibly in crawl spaces, etc. Because we can move volume out of air out of this house, and it's going to have a similar effect to air filters in relation to mold spores.
I don't think so.
Anyway, that's why we're going to shut this down.
Because we disagree.
And argue. Anyway, thanks for joining us. We'll try to keep you up to date, and welcome to the new Art and Bree. This is season
3.
1, 2, 3. We've been doing it for 3 years. That means we're starting season 4.
No way. It couldn't be that many years.
Yeah, we've been doing it for 3 years. Is that right? Yes.
Yes.
Anyway, welcome to season 4 of Art and Bree, starting with mold removal. And a whole new feel. Bye.